Hi, my name is Barbara Delgado, and welcome to another exciting episode of the BD Experience podcast. Today, as we welcome the new year, we're going to talk about creating better habits. And my next guest is somebody who has truly changed my life and has impacted my life so much that I have created better habits, which is why I have him here today. So I want to welcome to the show, Jonathan Tovar.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate that introduction. It's very sweet of you.
Aww. Yes, we've grown very fond of each other. And so, Jonathan, you are the VP of Operations of OneShot. And for those of us or those of them, those of who? For those
to
people,
whom it may concern.
For those that don't know what OneShot is, can you give us a little bit of a description on how you guys are helping super busy professionals create better habits?
Yeah, for sure. So OneShot, we describe it as it's a nutrition lifestyle coaching company. So with that, what we do is, I always like to describe it as like a relationship. So we're developing a relationship with a client to determine what their lifestyle is, and then determine a nutrition plan and just overall healthy habits based off of their lifestyle. I always like to say that I can develop a template and say you must follow this, but if it doesn't align with your lifestyle, it's going to be very hard to develop and very hard to sustain. So with that, I want to learn what your lifestyle is, what your day-to-day looks like, so we can develop the healthy lifestyle and habits with them. With the overall majority of the target is for us to lose weight, drop body fat, and then maybe just get overall healthy, right? Some people are overcoming like health issues or health concerns, health scares. So the biggest goal is just to develop these alternatives and as well as healthy habits so we can overcome that and become a healthier version of ourselves. So that's kind of like what we do, but that's just like a snippet. We do like much more in detail.
That's definitely just a snippet. I feel like for me, I feel like when I hear all that, it sounds like, I don't know, not doable or like unattainable, right? And as a person who struggles with their weight and has struggled with weight issues for a long time, I can tell you that before I came to you, I had considered other things. So I feel like what you guys are doing is creating a space for people to be healthy, get healthy in a very doable way that's natural to them, right? In our busy schedule. So honestly, like, I don't think maybe you do know, right? Like the impact that you're having on our community and the people that go to you, and it's just incredible to see that.
Yeah, and like, what were some of your hesitations like before starting? Like, that's what I want to know, because I know that you're like really eager, right, to start, but like we all have some hesitations or concerns. Like, biggest thing is like, it's not going to work for me. I've tried other things in the past. Like, I get that a lot. So like, what were yours?
So yes, I want to talk about that, but I also want to rewind real quick about how we met, right? Because I feel like that's how I got into like really wanting to go to OneShot. And we met through a photo shoot, right?
Yeah.
Was that the first time we met?
Yeah, that was the first time we met.
You all came in, your whole team came in, and it was just like, wow, like the energy, the camaraderie that y'all had. Wait, how do you say that word?
Don't ask me.
Okay. How do you say that word, guys? Camaraderie. Oh. Camaraderie, right? Did I say it right? Camaraderie. Such a hard word to say. For me, at least.
Words are hard.
Yes, we talked about words being hard. But you guys came in, y'all had amazing energy, and the way the team got along with each other, it was inspiring to us. I remember that day we all took a shot, right? We took a shot.
I didn't know we want to talk about that. Yeah.
No, but
it's nerve-wracking. Yeah.
It was a celebration of your team and everything that you guys had accomplished, so I feel like it was awesome. And then I found out later that one of my clients, who I was like, wow, she looks amazing. She's looking so good. And every time I saw her and she came in for a photo shoot, she just looked even better. Found out she was going with you guys, and then I found another client was going with you guys. And I think it was for about a year that I really wanted to I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how you all were making everybody look so good, but I really wanted to try it. And for me, in 2014, I was down to my lowest weight, right? And I did work out, but at the same time, I was also doing something, I was taking diet pills. And I feel like it worked. But the second that I got off of them, and if I realize now that if I hadn't created good habits, eating habits, or learned, how to eat well, I gained it all back. And so for me, before coming to you guys and before really learning what you guys did, I contemplated like weight loss surgery. I contemplated, I didn't want to do the diet pills again. I know that they have really terrible side effects, and I just wanted something that could be sustainable for the rest of my life, and not like a crutch. I didn't want it to I didn't want to have a crutch to I wanted to, really get it done. And I saw what these people were doing and what you were doing, and I was super interested. And that's when I went to a consultation. It took me about a year to do it. So I feel like it was something that I really considered, but I think all the alternatives, and not that I have anything against weight loss surgery or any type of, I know Ozempic is out there and all these types of things that help you suppress appetite. But I think the most important thing is to create good habits.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think you said that best. It is one of those things where some of those alternatives, I think when I come from a medical background, and so I understand that sometimes we need a coupled intervention, meaning, we don't just target one thing with one approach. We have two things. Maybe I can break this down in layman's terms is with you doing photos, right? It's not just a camera setting. Sometimes it's a camera and a light setting, right? So those two things make that shot better, right? And it's the same thing in this situation. Some people have, as you're talking about habits, it's lifelong generational habits that we're trying to kind of curve and fix, right? I mean, it's one of those things if we ask majority of our people in our community, it's well, my grandmother just did that, or that's a culture. When we go over to the house, we have to finish everything that we eat on the plate and more, right? And it's disrespectful if I don't. That's the culture that, that's created. But sometimes having those coupled interventions is okay, right, to start. But you said it best where we can't depend on just that. We do have to create that habit, change that habit. Because if we don't, then that's where we can fall into the rebound situation, or, some people, and even my own family, right? It's one of those, we get the surgeries, right? But then that does a short-term fix, right? And then we rebound because, again, we didn't change the habits.
And not only that, but I feel like what you all are also doing is teaching people to eat healthy. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's one of the biggest problems. I think for me, and what I realized along my journey with you is that we are creatures of habit.
Yeah.
And so what we eat is typically what we usually eat. It's we have 10 or 12 things that we typically eat our whole lives. You know what I mean? And then we don't really know. I feel like I was of course I can mix black beans, and you know what I mean? I don't know. It was just little things that I started realizing that I was this isn't hard. It's just not my habit right now to eat these things.
Right.
And so we've been together for the past, we've been together.
We've been together.
We've been together. We have worked together for the past, what is it now? 6?
It's approaching 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
My longest relationship ever. True story. No.
I have really enjoyed our relationship, by the way, so I hope it continues.
Yeah, for sure.
And it becomes even more longer. That doesn't make sense. Anyway.
I know what you're saying.
What I want to say is that you have really helped me learn to eat different foods that I actually really enjoy. I was telling Liz actually, because it's I haven't been hungry. It was in phases, right? Phase 1 was super easy. You were you can eat as much as you want, whenever you want, just stick to this list, right? And then the next phase. So I feel like it was just so simple to get through these phases. And that was one of my concerns is how am I going to do that? Right. How am I going to get through each phase when all I think about is food every single moment of the day, you know? Also, another thing I realized is that I would stress eat.
Yeah,
and
we do.
And when I didn't have that first phase, I remember when I couldn't have chocolates or sweets or anything, I was getting super angry. I was just angry all the freaking time. So I feel like it teaches you about yourself too, and what your relationship with food is. And I think that's one of the most important parts about being healthy, is having a great relationship with food.
Right.
Right.
No, I mean, our actions are based off of how we're feeling, right? So, I mean, if someone like cuts you off in the street, you have two options. You can either like get really mad and angry, but you're probably like dealing with something else, right? Or you just kind of like let that go. And we're going back to like those actions, with our foods, right? I know you're like at first, and it's funny and I say funny to reflect on, right? Just because like you haven't been in the situation recently at all, but you're like, I need chocolate, I need these, like they're only like this many calories. Can I, da 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 da?
Yeah. Oh,
and like
wow. Yeah,
now, like you don't eat those, like it was like, right?
That's right. I was obsessed with those like little rice cakes.
Yes.
The rice cakes. I would be like, I'd send you photos of like handfuls of rice cakes.
Yeah.
I don't eat the rice cakes anymore. I don't really need them. I do have an occasional like dark chocolate, but I don't feel like it's something I'm needing.
Right. And it's very, very common, and I don't have like my list, so I don't want to like say anything right or wrong, but there's some foods that we consume when we're like snacking, and sometimes it's triggered by an emotion, right? So it can be like spicy food or nuts, right? These little things are, as you said, like stress eating, right? Nuts are healthy, right? But again, how much are we consuming, right? So if we have the jar of nuts and we've just been snacking at it all day because we're anxious or we're nervous, right? We're not really sitting with that emotion. We're just we're just kind of coping with it in that moment, just by eating.
Yeah.
So it is really, really important for us to like be aware of like our emotions and like what we're dealing with, and trying to overcome that versus like just going straight to the food, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to like bring it up in this situation, but like I told you, right, whenever we had the burger situation, I said I want to discover that we don't have to put this in there, but like
I know we can. I'm totally I'm an open book.
Yeah, but I mean, when we had the burger situation, I said I'm not mad, right? And I wasn't, but I was like, I want to explore that, right? So
why did you do it?
Did we have a stressful day, right? Did something happen that you're like, I need a break, and I'm gonna go to here, right? Because I've been there too, right? And I'm gonna be honest, where like there's some times where I'm like, man, that Popeyes, that spicy, those spicy
chicken
fried
sandwich from Popeyes.
like just the fried chicken, just alone, the spicy fried chicken with those like red beans and rice, like, and like one time I purposely like, I didn't sit with my emotion, but I knew I shouldn't eat it, but I purposely ate it, right? And I did that because I knew that I wouldn't feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
And when I say feel good, as in like my stomach was upset, my body felt sluggish and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I wanted to treat my body and my brain, be like, do you remember that feeling? Do you really want that feeling again? No, right? So we won't do it again.
That's exactly what happened to me. I was sick for 4 days for eating a burger.
No, we don't know if it's a burger or not, right? It could have been anything. But
no, it was the universe punishing me for having a burger. No, the thing is that, and what I've learned is that like I'm gonna make it a little bit closer to me. What I've learned is that it's okay. Like I'm not that I'm allowed, and that's one thing that I liked. It's like it's not like I can never have anything. I could have whatever I wanted, but I had to let you know about it. You know what I mean? And so that thing was like holding me accountable. And I think the accountability part is the biggest freaking like obstacle everybody has. You know what I mean? And so for me, you are that voice in my head. You know what I mean? Because you were holding me accountable. So yeah, there was times where I had drinks, there was times where I had pizza, but I shared it with you. And then we modified the next day so that it was okay. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's been a gradual like decline in my percentage of fat. And we're going to show I'm brave.
Yeah, it is brave. Those scans are scary that you're willing to like share and like showcase, but most definitely, it does require a level of vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And I think that requires anything when it comes to like any coaching aspect that you're doing. And especially when it comes to like weight loss and wellness, is like the vulnerability that you have, and being able to like showcase some of these, I'm gonna say flaws, but experiences that we're having, right?
Yeah.
Are you open book, like completely?
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm scared because I don't want to like share anything that you don't want to talk.
Share.
But like,
I am open book.
Like the biggest win that I've had with you is that the fact like now we become more regular, right? And
my periods.
Okay, on our periods, yes, yeah. But that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, it's unfortunate for women. I'm sorry you guys have to experience that, right? Because to my understanding, not I'm gonna say I know, but to my understanding, it's not a fun experience.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is like some people are like, oh, I'm irregular and I have been, right? Well, it's not though. Like, you know, your body's supposed to be doing some of these functions. I understand there's some illnesses and diseases that prevent that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But you know, you weren't, right?
Yeah,
And
you're helping your body be the best that it could, work the best way that it can. No, I've noticed so many things, and that's a huge part of something personal that I'm going through, and it's actually helping as a side effect. So like, if that is a side effect of what I'm doing,
Right.
like, what other proof do I need that I'm like doing the best thing I can for myself?
Right.
Oh, I'm getting emotional.
No,
But no,
it's
it's super true. It's just like, that's what I'm telling you. Like,
yeah.
I was like, it's this or weight loss surgery, or you know what I mean? And I was like, and I don't have anything against weight loss surgery, but
Yeah.
I really wanted to change my habits. I really wanted to become the best version of myself, have the best, give my body like the best chance it has at doing and working as well as it could. And I feel like that is exactly what you guys are teaching
Yeah.
your clients, and teaching people who are busy and like don't typically have the time to put themselves first, right?
Right.
Because this is self-care. You know what I mean? 100%. Like, I feel like what you guys are doing is making sure that we prioritize our health.
Yeah.
And I feel like busy professionals, for the most part, tend not to.
Right.
So I'm forever grateful to you guys. I am going to share my scans because I am down 22 pounds of fat.
Yes. Congrats.
And you'll be able to see, we're going to show it, right? Just like my progression of weight loss over the past 6 months, which has been, I don't want to say slow, you know what I mean?
No,
But
it
like
hasn't.
6 months ago, I would have been like, what? Only 20 pounds in 6 months? That sounds like very little, but it's been very achievable. And I just, every single month, I just see myself just going down and down and down. And I feel like that in itself is amazing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
6 months goes by in a blink of an eye.
Right.
So, and I'm still doing it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. No, but it's very, very true, because we tell people all the time, and like per the national like healthy standard, it's losing 1 to 2 pounds per week, right? And we lay that expectation of it's like that 1 pound per week. So anything further than that, you're exceeding the expectation of like the standard that's set, right? But we see some of these surgeries, we see some of these weight loss supplements and whatnot, and we want the fast, the quick, solution, right?
The quick, yeah.
Exactly.
We
And-
want to be skinny now.
Right, and that's been our culture, right? That's what we live in the society that we live in right now, where we just want the quick fix. But it takes time, and I tell people too, like the amount of time that it took you to put on the weight, consider the same amount of time to take it off. Some people are like, oh, you mean 10 years? I'm like, well, my love, if it took 10 years, consider that, right?
Yeah.
Because it didn't just happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
We didn't just wake up from 120 to 220 one day. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It was a 1 pound increase by time. And
Yeah.
so it's the same thing here when we reduce it. But, like when you came in, your goal was to lose weight, right? It's like, I want to get to that point.
Lose weight and be healthy.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And, it wasn't even like I need to be at this specific number. It was
Yeah.
just like, I just want to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
And with that, with time, we discovered, the other things that, as going back to your period, right? It wasn't me saying like, follow this plan because it's going to get you regular again. It
Yeah.
was like, just eat healthy, right?
Yeah.
Manage your stress, manage your emotions and whatnot. And like all those things, like stress is really, really big on the body. And like some people live in a high cortisol level state consistently, which is like really, really bad for the body because the functions and whatnot is just trying to reduce that, right? And it kind of ignores everything else. But like with you, it's one of those like everything else has changed like with time. I'm sure even your performance and like some of your activities, like physical activity, right?
My performances in my activities. Wow,
Yes.
that sounds very suspicious. But I know what you
Her
mean. And yes, they have.
in the studio.
No. I know exactly what you mean. And I feel like it's a chain of events,
Yeah.
right? It is a chain of events of like, you do this one thing. I will tell you, and I have you guys to attest to it, the people here at the studio, our team, people, like I don't even know them, the people,
The producers
our
in the back.
family here at the studio has also changed their eating habits.
You did
My
mention that.
husband changed his eating habits. Is this not true? It is very true.
Nice, nice.
And it's because it's like a an effect that it has.
Yes.
Like you change and then, you know, you kind of start
Yes.
inspiring other people to do it.
Yes.
And I feel like this is what exactly why this inspired me to have you on and talk to everybody and kind of share our journey together, because it is a life impacting experience.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely correct. And whenever we start to like change ourselves and change little things about ourselves, I've heard this thing where like we impact at least 7 people the closest around us as well, right? Not saying that you're going to impact everyone, but at least 7 people, right? And maybe less as well. But it's one of those, as you're saying, like you guys are around each other so much that this impact occurred. I even remember, you know, when for your birthday, I dropped off a present, right?
yeah.
And it was one of those things, some healthy choices too, right?
Yeah.
But you know, I got the feedback, and it was one of those things like, oh, I've seen such a difference in Barbara, and I'm like, what difference is like her energy, you know, the way she carries herself. And it's one of those things like, I never told you that, right? But it's one of those like other people are seeing it as well. You may not even noticed it, right? You're not, you know, saying like, oh, my energy is good, you know, I feel better or whatnot. But, you know, other people saw that, right? And so whenever they're seeing that secret sauce that you're doing or that you're consuming, right?
Yeah.
But it's one of those, they see it, they're like, what are you doing, right? As you approach with your clients, right? Which is our clients as well. It's like, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, this is what I'm doing. I'm just like, change this. And, you know, it's all about balance too, right? Is the biggest thing. But yeah, it's one step at a time, one day at a time. Learning how to enjoy the moment, because it's a journey, right? And you know, reflecting back on it, all the things that you've overcame, the experience that you've had, it's like one of those like you might have never experienced that before, right? But it's also enjoying the journey, right? Being thankful for it.
Yes, 100%. Being thankful for the journey, being thankful for you, for our work together, and also just, you know, I wanted to share with you guys because we're coming up to the new year, and I feel like the one thing that I can tell anybody is that a little change goes a long way, and taking one day at a time really is effective. And it may seem like it'll take forever to get there, but I feel like you'll get there.
Yeah. But no, you also said it best earlier, and my brain's like going back and like forth and everything. But you said accountability, and that's what it really is, right? The biggest thing, and also being guided right in the right direction.
Yes.
But
I couldn't do it. Like, okay, accountability. I couldn't do it without it. Like, I feel like every day we are in contact 3 times a day at the very least. And it's like, I know I have to do that. I know I have to come in, and I know I have to message you, and I know I have to tell you what I've eaten. And I know that in itself makes me reflect on what I'm doing throughout the day. So yeah, it really is. That's it. It's the accountability part.
Yeah, I even have to remind you about your events that you have on your weekends.
Yes.
You know, there was one time she was like, "Oh, I have this thing with some girls on Friday." She sent me the invite. Come Friday, I'm like, "How's your day going?" She's like, "Good. I'm at the house." Da da da. The next day, I was like, "Did you go to the event with your girls, like the party?" And they're like, "No, it's tomorrow." I was like, "I think the invite said it was Friday." She was like, "Oh shit, you're right. I missed it." Like, so it was like one of those, as you talked about, right? Like, you're not only are you my coach, you're like my assistant,
everything.
Just because it's accountability overall, but it's like learning, like what, again, going back to what I said earlier, is like it's learning your life, what you're doing, what your life looks like, and then tailoring it to that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I can develop a plan, but like for you and your busyness here, it's one of those like your days, right? You have shoots all day, right? And so it's like, okay, can we get a snack in between some of your shoots, right? As like you're in between and like the next person's coming in, like, can you snack on something, right? And you're like, yeah, I can do that. And like, that's how you've been able to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but again, if I told you you need to eat 5 meals a day and it probably would have been overwhelming. You're like, I can't do it.
It is overwhelming. And also when I don't have a perfect day, it's okay because tomorrow there's tomorrow. You know what I mean? And it's not about like every day being perfect. It's about learning how to live in this non-perfect world, right? Like knowing that it's okay for me to, you know, not have the perfect day.
Yeah.
But to wrap it up today, What is the one thing that you could, I guess, if you had any advice to give anybody who wanted to start living a healthier life, what would you tell them?
Um, that's a little bit hard, right? But I would say, you know you best. And so, like, I do want to go back to a little bit for the accountability aspect. You said, like, you couldn't do it without the accountability, right? There's some things that I'm teaching you right now that you may not even realize that is going to be the self accountability. Okay, so like your weigh-ins every day, that's a self accountability tool, right? So when, if and when you break up with me, it's one of those
Never
things.
gonna happen.
But it's one of those things. What did I teach you, right? And it's like daily weigh-ins, right? It's not just avoiding that, not so much because we're trying to target a specific number. You could stay with where you're at and you're happy with that, but it's the self accountability that you're developing. And so when I say know you best, and I say that for even myself, to this day, I've been around health and wellness for over a decade now. And it's one of those things, I still have coaches for myself just because I know me best and I know that I need them, right? So the biggest thing is, like, if you're wanting to start something, you're really wanting to start that change, figure out yourself and know yourself best and be honest with yourself. If you're like, but I can do it on my own, we can. You've had time to try it. Have you tried it? Why not? Right? What's preventing you from being, I'm just being lazy. Okay, so what's preventing your laziness to actually start with action? And then in most cases, it's just like, I just need a jump start, right? And so some people just, do a very short-term program just because they just need that jump start, and they're okay with that. Some people, they know themselves best, and they're like, I just know I need someone on my butt. I just need to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. I would say know yourself best and then be honest with yourself to see what you need. And then from there, move forward with that, right? So if it is like, I just don't even know where to go, I don't know how to start, I just don't know what I'm doing, get the guidance, find the education, find the coaching, because that's what we do as well. We're educating, everyone that comes to our program. And I always tell people, my goal here is not to hold you for the rest of your life. My biggest goal here is to provide you with all the tools and resources that you need to be successful for the rest of your life, right? And so it's like, as you said, it's an investment, it's self-care, right? Some people are like, well, I don't want to invest with myself with that, but we go buy the necklace, the clothes, and we go out to the restaurants and bars on the weekend and whatnot. If we did an analysis of like what you're spending, right, you can save like 2 weekends or a month and like invest into yourself, right?
I 1000% agree. I think it is time to invest in ourselves.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's one of those things. Your health and your well-being is something that you can't really. I don't want to say like you can't buy. Like, I mean, you can, right? Just take care of yourself, but you can't go and just like let me go buy it off the shelf. Like,
Yeah,
you
let me
have
go buy a new liver. Let me
right,
go buy, yeah,
right.
no.
You have to like take care of yourself, right?
I 1000% agree. And I just want to thank you so much for being here.
Are we done already? Like, I
are-
felt like it flew by.
Yes, we are done. No, it's because time flies when you're having fun.
Yes.
Right? Jonathan, thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you guys for listening today. You guys have to check out OneShot if you haven't already. They've truly changed my life. I know it's an investment, but it's worth it. Your health is worth it. You guys have a great one. We'll see you next episode. Yeah?
Alrighty.
Yes.
That was great.